Hey, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, one half of the Dungeon Swag team, and our house is pretty much done here. We got our tent or hut or whatever this is. We got not great coverage with the paint. I missed some spots, but that's okay. We're going to come back with brown and coat everything anyways, except for the inside. We're not going to worry about that inside. We're going to try to leave that black, so it's kind of mysterious. So, just to make it a little easier to get better coverage and not have to keep dipping into the lid, I'm going to get a good bit of this paint here. Get my brush a little damp. We're going to start painting this thing. And you want to paint with fairly good coverage. You don't have to get in every crack, and you don't have to hit every single inch if you're not into that. I'm going to miss some spots, and I might say deliberately, or I might just be out of laziness. But I'm going to be missing some spots because I'm okay with a little bit of that black showing through on mine. Now remember, you're making this for your tabletop if you're following along. So paint it to your standard and do it at your level. Don't worry about what I'm doing if it doesn't suit you. Now I see I didn't turn this enough when I was covering it. And you see how this fabric is super soft? This glue will toughen that up some, but it won't be all the answers. Probably should have used a finer t-shirt material too. I just grabbed a shirt that was like my wife's. If you grab a t-shirt, the fabric doesn't have any direct pattern in it like this, so it'll look better. This has obvious lines where it's been stretched and stuff. So that was a mistake I made. So let's hope you did better in your selection of fabric than I did. So you don't want to make it so wet that it won't dry quickly. But you want to make sure you get enough paint on there that it lightens it up. And you can see what you're about. In the spots where I got better coverage, it's a little stiffer and the paint's not absorbing in real quick. And in the spots where I did a shit job coat with coverage, well, you'll see soon enough. Now, unless they just put this down today, there won't be grass right out the front because of beating a little path in and out of this. See if these sticks, get those nice and brown. Alright, I think I didn't get quite enough paint. Maybe I did. We'll see if we can get it to work. Nope, gotta get a little more, sorry. It was close. And then you kind of want to hit your sticks up some. And these, again, put as much effort into painting the sticks as you want. Really could have just taped those off and left them brown. It probably would have been okay. That's not what I did, though. So it's basically brown everywhere now. Just want to get a little more around that ground there and make sure it's good and covered. I'm getting brown paint all over my hand up here. Okay, let's set our paint off to the side for a moment. Let's hit this with a hairdryer and see if we can enjoy what we've done. Alright, so it's not completely dry, obviously, but it's dry enough that we can start getting more paint on there. So now we're going to get the next color down, which is going to be this melted chocolate I use a lot. We're just going to pour it in the same paint pot here. This is not really a paint pot. I call it that, but what this really is a, it's like a muffin, part of a muffin pan. So Mrs. Doom had some muffin pans that she bought that were real cheap. And something bad happened to where I ended up getting a bunch of bad muffin pans that I could pop apart and get these cool little tin pans for. So I lucked out on that. So We're not looking for the best coverage here. Like we were doing pretty good coverage on the last coat. On this one, we're not looking for the best coverage. We're more so looking to create different colors of paint on this. Okay. And then you can kind of wipe a lot of that off and just pick up some of this outside again. Not hitting it as good. If there's any spots that are a little bit too wet, just kind of work that paint around and get rid of the big globs. And we want to get some of that dirt going inside to lighten that up. And hit the inside of our entrance here so it's not black. I didn't get that real good with that first coat of brown. There we go. Alright, let's hit that with the hairdryer again and see how that looks. Now you'll notice my sticks up here are kind of falling apart, just like that. And that's okay, there's no paint in there, but that's alright. I think I'm just going to leave it. Pretend it's really cool and that I meant to do that. Right here, there's way too much paint. So I'm just going to wipe off that brush I was using and get in there and kind of distribute that with some of that water I have on my brush. Here we go. And hit that again. Alright, so I'm going to mix a little bit of khaki in with my metal pot here. And we're just going to keep doing the same business, lightening it up. And with this coat, the secret to success is going to be to wipe a lot of that off. Just drag it around in some spots. And then you don't want like that definite like angle of the brush. So you want to kind of like, if you get that somewhere and you can see there's like that little triangle from the corner of it, just hit it from a different direction and yank that around and get rid of it. Because you don't want any kind of perfect looking spots. So we're starting to get a little more of a ragtag. These are hides, or this is something we carried around look. And unfortunately that fabric is sticking out pretty prevalently up close. You can really see those grains. Again, that was the material I used, so that was my fault. Is there a better way to fix that? Yeah, probably. I don't really know how I would fix it without stopping the video and kind of saturating with super glue and using some more patches and stuff. I'm not sure how else to fix that besides that. So that's not going to be realistic for what I'm accomplishing here in the short time we have together. I apologize. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to lighten this up just one more time. I want to wipe a lot of this paint off, and I'm going to come back and steal some more of that here and there. And I'm mostly focusing on the tops. And this is all kind of wet blending, I guess, because this didn't dry, you know what I mean? I didn't even hit this with a hairdryer or attempt to dry it, and we know it's not dry. I'm just going to touch some of that ground up down there. Just dragging it around to lighten that up a little bit. Nothing too spectacular. Okay. So we got something like this going on. All right, I'm going to get that brush. I'm going to clean that out. I'm going to come back with the brown paint, this light brown here. I'm just going to wipe a lot of it off and just drag it through the entrance so we can see that's dirt going in there. And then I'm just going to come in. It should be really light now, and just touch some of this. Some of these spots where I want it to lighten up a little bit. So with these patches, what I think the answer to be is to paint the patch, the whole patch, a color, and then lighten that up with a dry brush over it. So for this one, I'm just going to do light. And I think for the other ones, I'm going to do a dark. This is like a chestnut, or nutmeg, I'm sorry. I'm just going to get this nutmeg. I'm going to come over here on this patch. I'm going to hit this patch up. Make it nutmeg so it looks like they had to use a different, something to patch a hole. You know, they didn't have the exact same material they started with, maybe. Then I'm going to get that really dark. We'll get a poop of that. I'm going to do this big patch with that. Mixed with that nutmeg. And I'm just following around, pulling out to the edges there, and painting this whole patch. Alright. And then maybe I'll mix those and see what I get. And hit this little spot in here and make it that color. Alright. And we can do some just little touches around, just to add some different interest and some different color. A couple spots. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to mix this light up with that. I'm going to lighten that up on the darker patch. Where's that darker patch at? There it is. I'm just going to touch around on there. And then on this medium patch, I'm going to do the same thing. Give it some texture. Not texture, some interest. And maybe I'll do a little bit on there. And I'll take that lighter color and I'll touch around. Maybe hit some of those darker little spots. Alright. So what we have is something like that. And it's going to look pretty good for what we need it to. Let's hit it with the hairdryer though. Let's move this cardboard. There we go. Move our paint pot thing. Now this paint's going to dry pretty hard is my guess. So I'm going to get a toothpick. I'm going to pull this back out where it popped in a little bit and do some little repair work here and there. See if there's any spots that need to be mushed down. Just kind of mush those back into place so they'll dry harder in that spot. And those are just results of not doing a good job during the painting portion. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of my paint here and grab a dark green, or grab a green. This is called English Ivy green. And I really like this. I use this for a lot of stuff now. So the other day I played with it and now it's just kind of like my jam. So I'm going to get a brush. And this is just a real thin brush. I'm going to get a piece of cardboard. I'm going to get a rag and wipe this paint that I'm putting my hand in. There we go. Well done, sir. Thank you. Alright. Back to what we were doing. I'm going to get this English Ivy and I'm going to wipe some of that off. And then I'm just going to drag this around on some of that sawdust from that flock. And just kind of give the impression that some of that's grass and some of that's dirt and some of that's leaves. So I'm not hitting every single piece. I'm just dragging it around lightly. I'm just hitting stuff. And I'm not trying to pull up anything that might not have been dry, because you'll regret that. Because the stuff that's not quite dry, when we do the final clear coat, it'll dry up. And it'll look okay. So right here, you'll see we have a little bit of the CD show through. Where I maybe move something. We'll just hit that again. And some of this grass that got up on here, if you just want to snag it easily to show that it's grass that might be stuck to the side of this or whatever. It's your project. Do what you want. So I think we got a pretty good thing here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this, and I'm just going to get my brush a little bit wet. And I'm going to get some of this wood here, hit with that. So it looks like it may have been reused, or it's, mossy. Why? No good reason. Just have the stuff out, thought I'd use it. I'm going to hit some of that around the base again just to get more green. Have it on the brush, might as well not waste it, right? Alright. So, these people may or may not have been in several battles throughout time. And as they're going around assembling their tent, they may or they may not draw on it. If this is orcs or something, which I was kind of going for like a little bit better than orcs, maybe druids or something, I don't know. When I say better than orcs, I don't mean better, because we don't know much about orcs. They're not real. But we do know about people and how each different culture had different technological advancements and different things they did for cultural reasons, for expression of art and such. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look here and see if there's any spots that really would benefit from a paint job. I just don't see it. So I think that's good. That's about what we're going to need to do here. You could put bushes along here or anything you wanted to make this a little more extra. But what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to clear coat it, which I don't even know if it's really going to need a clear coat because it's already pretty solid at this point. I don't think it's going to fall apart, but I'm going to clear coat it and take a thumbnail. And as you can see, this is on a CD base, so it's sturdy, and for the long run, it's playable. You could put a miniature or two in there coming out if you needed to. And I'm going to get this ready and take it up to the table. So this has been Doom from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. I am one half of the Dungeon Swag team. If you want to support the channel, you can like and subscribe. If you have ideas for things you'd like me to make, or if you would like to point out some of the things that I could have done better here besides the t-shirt, which I obviously pointed out, go ahead and hit the comments up. If you've made something like this, join our Discord. Show me what you've made. I'm interested. I really, really am. I love looking at other people's creations like you would not believe. So, please, by all means, check us out on Discord. Come to the website and buy some minis. There's a discount code in the description down there, and there's one on the Discord as well. You can either get a mini completely for free. There's no either. You can do both. You can get a mini completely for free, and you can save 25% off your first month if you're doing the Loot Crate. The Loot Crate is 6, 7, or 8 really good minis, printed and packaged and sent directly to your door. Opening them up is a pleasure. Let me see if I know I have some down here. Tom sent me Tom, which is a Scorbic, he's the other half of my team, he sent me a box of some just to paint and have fun with. So I have like some kind of bugbear druid there, or hobgoblin. Yeah, it's a bugbear. I got this demon looking dude. I got this goat man with a stick. Oh, I think I just showed you that one. That's a demon looking dude. Here's a female bugbear archer. Little goblin necromancer, and he's holding a heart, which makes him super cool. So yeah, go to the website and check out our minis. They're awesome. I love them. You will too, unless you don't like good minis. So thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.